Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial about doing rigid body dynamics in Houdini and have Vertex Animation Texture in Unity to animate it, and it's very efficient, so it's easy for the CPU and graphic card to render. So this is a really great way to do a lot of cool animations. So this is only Vertex animation, and I'm gonna show you how this is set up and made. So we're gonna start off in an empty scene. So this is where we're gonna be, and let's go over to Houdini. First off, we make a geometry node, and well, worth mentioning, this tab here, Side Effect Labs, you should have this one installed, and if you don't, you need it. And if you're unsure about it, you can check out the previous tutorial about it, how to install it, I think. And also I'm gonna make a box. The box is gonna be a brick, and I'm actually not gonna make the correct measurements. I'm just gonna make something that looks like a brick. So it's 1/2 meter long. It's a very big brick. That's what we're gonna have. And I'm gonna have this in a pile. So it's gonna be a pile of bricks, and the animation gonna start in a pile and exploding. So we're actually gonna make 2 simulations. So let's start with the first thing. So this sphere, I'm gonna make an ISO offset to this one. So it's making kind of a volume, and this volume is, let's see, we can do like this to make it more obviously. So you see here that I transform it into a volume, and we can crank up the sampling to make it more match the sphere more. And what's really good about doing this technique is if we do a scatter node, then we have points inside this sphere. So you see it's kind of like a star system, right? But if we only did it on the sphere, then it will only be on the surface. So now it's inside as well. So that's why we use this ISO offset. So this is nice. So then we just do copy to points, this node. So the points go into the right side and the things to copy on the left. And then we have a lot of bricks. And first off in scatter, we can choose how many of them. I'm gonna go by 200. And you can see it's pretty, let's say, yeah, intersection. So we're gonna take up this radius, and we see it's more space. And also we're gonna do a clip node, place it here. So this clip is kind of making it the dome. And when we're making an ISO offset, it's just a dome filled inside. And then the point is only going to fill the dome like this, and here we have it. So we're starting to get it like we want. And actually, if we make a grid, and this is going to represent our ground, and we can see that the bricks is actually intersection through it like this. So there's some different ways we could do it. We can just take this ISO offset, and if we do offset, we can kind of offset like this. We do it a little bit, and the result actually doesn't make much difference. So we're gonna just make put it to 0 and take this clip node. And we're gonna take this clip node and clip it upwards like this. Not too far, but a little bit. And then we have the bricks not going through. So, and also I want the randomness to them. I think they are way too regular. And I'm going to use an attribute randomize. So this one will put colors as a default and just randomize them. And it's nice. And we are not going to use that. We're going to use normal. And as soon as we use normal, all the points get the normal to like this. And you see they are random in a way, but not fully, because a value could be from -1 up until 1, and the min value is 0, so we just need to make -1 on the min and max 1. Now you see they are pointing all kind of directions. So here we have it, and we remove the points visualization here, and actually I'm just gonna make the radius. I'm gonna make this part a little bit higher like this. And also this part I'm gonna move up even more a little bit like this, to make sure it's no intersections. So, cool. Here we have it. So now RBD solver, RBD bullet solver. You just plug it into the first one, and you have the second last one is collision geometry. It's going to be our plane, this one, right? And now it's only about simulate, and if we leave it, let's say 50, I like even numbers. We have a pile of bricks. I don't like this one out here. So we can actually do scatter and change the global seed. And we need to re-simulate it. And it's actually, maybe I'm gonna lower this until 2. Maybe it's, yeah, I think this is good. Let's do frame 50. So I really like this 50 frame here. But let's say this is exactly what we want, the things happening here. Then we just we need a ROP-net. So the ROP network is the same thing as doing output here and place a VAT node. But I don't want to work like that. I want to be in the geometry node, and then we do a ROP-net here, and then we can just put this VAT animation texture like this here. Then it feels more logic for me to go out and in like this. And we're actually going to have this null node. And this is going to be out simulation. So I'm going to copy this node, and inside here in this node, input geometry. I'm just going to do paste it like this. Super simple. You could, of course, okay, so this is correct what I did here. The error is something else. And also, it's going to be rigid body dynamics that we want, and we want unity. And we're going to change these values from 1 to 50, or let's say 70. And then, here some error, rigid body dynamics mode expect packed primitives. So we will give it packed primitives. So if we do here assemble, and in this node we do create packed primitives, this one here. So what's happening here is that here we have this brick has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. And here we have scattered 200 points. So what happened in here, if we do copy to points, we actually have 8 points times 200. So we got 1600 points. And to be effective about simulation and stuff, here we actually convert all these bricks into packed primitives. So each brick will represent a point. So here you see we will have 2 points. So, and primitives, and I think primitive, yeah, so we packed it to 200 primitives that has a lot of information. And this is what the node was asking for. So we just plug it in like this. And also we made, yeah, we're going to leave it as is for now. And if we go in here, let's reset simulation. Simulate it one more time. And this one should be okay. This one, let's just press render. No, actually, this should be okay because it has. Okay, so we fixed this error, but now they're asking for something else. Because rigid body dynamics mode expect the point attributes pivot and orient. So they are, so all these points here, the 200 bricks, they have a name. So here we can actually see, let's see, the points have a name, and they have a position. We have position here, we have a velocity, and this one I don't know what it is, but it also wants the pivot and the orient. So in this one we just need to make sure in advanced, I think it is it, or output it is, yeah, attribute transfer. They are asking for the pivot and also for the orient. And now if we go back, it has everything it wants. So it also says, I think this yellow thing, it doesn't show what it is. But there are also, so let's go through the settings. We have rigid body dynamics, and we have it for Unity. We have the start and the end frame. We have the geometry we want to export. And we have here, blue, we can go to this one. Input geometry is cached to integer frames. This is not cached, so we're going to remove it. And what they are asking for is it if, let's say you have a really heavy simulation, you want to do like this. File cache, and then you have, you kind of, yeah, you put save to disk. And it's also, before you do that actually, you should know where you save your stuff. And I haven't saved this file yet, it's untitled and all that. So if I middle click on the base folder, it just put in a random, well, users Peter Geo. But I want, because a hip is where the file is located. So this is the default thing, right? So first off, we're going to save this file, and I'm going to save this one into here in my Unity project. So I'm going to take show in Finder, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to copy this file path. And in here, I'm going to file save as, save it in my Unity folder. And also I'm going to, this is the name of the file. So now we have it saved. And now base folder gonna be in my Unity folder. And it's gonna be in a subfolder geometry. So let's say if you made a really heavy simulation and you simulate it, and this takes so much time for you. This took 3 hours maybe to simulate this part. But now you see this is a super simple simulation. This will just take really fast. If it takes a lot of time, you should do this file cache and save to disk. And now here, load from disk. Now it's ticked in here. This means if we do like this, and even if we just disconnect, we have it here. We have the simulation cached on the disk. So you can see here, the geometry, and here we have a lot of files. So this is for each frame. Now in our case, I'm not going to use this because we have such easy simulations and we're going to change it later on. So I'm just going to keep it without it. So now when you know what that is, we're not going to use this one because we deleted the cache file. And we're going to have the HDR format. We're also going to leave this one because it's going to be big enough. And if it's not big enough, you can see the last, when you press render, you can check the size here. You can make it bigger if you want. Input. This is the input stuff we get. And we added required position, pivot, orient. And we added these two. Optional, there's color, and we have different other stuff. We're going to add this color for vertex, so we can use it in the shader later and so forth. But for now, we're just going to leave everything as it is. Export. So if I remove these things here and only use the hip and middle click, you see it's in the Unity folder next to the Houdini file. And the asset name gonna go brick pile 01. We're not gonna have a suffix, and we're gonna include geometry, position, rotation, and we don't need colors, so we're just gonna remove that. And we're gonna have a Unity material, and it's gonna be added for us, super neat. And I don't want the geometry to be its own subdirectory, and the textures and the material separate. I'm just gonna have it in the same folder. So that's nice. And in advanced, we're gonna leave this. Target engine, leave this. Real-time shader, we're gonna leave this. And now we just press render. And I'm actually gonna remove this geometry folder. So we have the brick pile, and this is have some settings here, and we need the Houdini settings. We have it saved as we went through the last tutorial. I'm gonna apply, so you see it has these settings. And also the textures, they're gonna have some other settings, HDR settings, apply, and that's good. So we have the mesh, and we have the material for it. And the material need a position to the position, rotation to the rotation, and there's something funny things going on. I love this. No, I don't. So this happens from time to time, and the way I can fix this is by changing the values in here and tweak it. And I don't know what's wrong. I've had this before. And I'm gonna pause the video and find out what's the problem is. So I'm back, and I have figured it. I haven't figured it out, but I have a solution. So there is something going on with the VAT node itself. And I'm going to show you what I did. So this is the one that we had all the time. So I just made a new one like this. And I just put in the same information, except I kept the start end. I didn't change this. And believe it or not, this worked. And I don't know why. So let's say if we delete this, and this is the new one. So I made a new one and I copied everything, but at start end I didn't change these settings. So if I render here and now it rendered all the way. Of course, I assume if I put 100 here, it will work, and I only render 100 frame. So I test this out, and you see it works. So this is good. And let's say, okay, I don't want to do the additional frames. I'm gonna do from 1, until 70 because I find that good. I render. And then I populate with new textures and it goes bananas. So I haven't a solution, but I know where the problem is. Weird, isn't it? I know. So I guess if we do 70 here, so now it's, I kind of have these numbers, but I didn't change the code. And let's render it all. Hopefully this works. And here, here, and okay, this is super weird because okay, so it's something about this. I call this a bug or something like this, I don't know. But this will probably sort out in one way or another in the future, but this is how it works. So I'm just gonna make a render again. And we have the basics figured out, and I'm gonna quit the tutorial here, and in the next tutorial I'm gonna add some UVs and show how to add vertex colors and work a little bit more with the simulation. And you see it's kind of still falling down. We can change this. We could just update this now. So we want to have interpolation between the frames. Now you see the jaggedness in the movements is gone. But I'm going to tweak this and control it a little bit more in the next tutorial. So thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.